This is the true account of a ship that vanished in 1871. No storm, no battle, no distress call. But something on board made the crew abandon it, mid-meal, mid-step, mid-thought. This story is reconstructed from recovered logs, journal pages, and a final message that was not meant to be read. If you're drawn to cold, salt air and colder truths, keep listening. The Hesper was a bark built in Liverpool in 1863, a fast, sturdy merchant ship meant for long transatlantic crossings. By 1871, she had made 14 successful runs. Her 15th would be her last. She departed Boston Harbor on September 2nd, bound for Lisbon with a full load of cured tobacco, medical instruments, and sealed government crates. Destination classified. The manifest listed 18 men on board, including the captain, first mate, and surgeon. Nothing unusual, nothing cursed. And yet, the Hesper would return across the Atlantic weeks later, completely empty. She was first sighted by a whaler off the coast of the Azores, all sails trimmed perfectly, no visible damage, and drifting slowly west with the current. No flags flown, no response to signals. The whalers reported the sighting to Portuguese authorities, who dispatched a naval cutter. That crew would board the Hesper at dawn. They found the decks dry, no signs of a fight. The lifeboats were missing, but the lines they'd been tied with were still coiled neatly on deck, not cut, not torn. Below deck, the galley was still warm, pots bubbling, biscuits half-eaten, a kettle hissing on the edge of a dry boil. The first officer's logbook lay open in the chart room, dated 6 days after departure. His last entry read, "He's still on the deck, still watching the wheel. We've stopped assigning anyone to relieve him. He won't come down." Every personal trunk was locked and sealed, except one, the captain's. Inside, a revolver, a torn sleeve with blood, and a folded envelope. The paper was soft with salt and age, but the ink still legible. It was addressed to whoever finds her. It read, "You'll want to turn back, but she won't let you. We saw the signal. We thought it was just wreckage. Then he came aboard. You can't keep someone in watch forever. Eventually, the ship watches you back." The logbook contained more than positions and weather. It recorded strange decisions, changes in heading not ordered, anchorings in the middle of open sea, and the removal of names from the duty roster. 4 names scratched out in ink. 1 name rewritten 12 times. Mr. Lorcan, watch officer. No such man was in the official records. In the mess, the table had 18 bowls. 17 were crusted with dried stew. 1 remained full, still warm. No one ever sat in the chair beside it. Crew bunks were untouched, beds neatly made. The captain's cabin had been locked from the inside, the key still in the lock. On the inside of the door was carved, "He doesn't blink. He just waits." The naval crew retrieved all logs, sealed the captain's note, and towed the Hesper back to Lisbon. But during the tow, the weather turned. Not a storm, something stranger. The sea went glass still. The cutter's compass began spinning. Lamps went dim, though the oil was fresh. Twice, men aboard the Hesper were seen standing at the rail at night, though the ship was supposed to be uncrewed. But each time someone checked, no one was aboard. On the 5th night, the cutter reported the Hesper had vanished from tow. No sound, no wake, just gone. The rope had not snapped. It had been untied carefully, knot by knot. Weeks later,
Hesper washed up gently on the shore of a fishing village in northern Spain. No damage, the sealed cargo untouched. But in the galley, 18 bowls again, one freshly filled, and a chair pushed back as if someone had just stood. No footprints, but on the inside of the galley wall, in the captain's hand. We took him aboard, but no one ever knew who he relieved.
The Hesper's second appearance caused little noise outside naval circles. Official reports called it a navigational mishap. Survivors were never interviewed. The sealed cargo was collected by men in civilian coats with Navy boots. And by winter 1872, the story had nearly vanished. But not for Captain Elias Brand. He had once served under the Hesper's original captain back in 1864 as a young deckhand. When he heard the ship had reappeared and that it carried government freight, he began making inquiries. Too many inquiries. In February, Brand's schooner, Gloria Dell, was assigned a winter run from Hull to Madeira. 2 passengers, minor cargo, clear seas. But just before departure, a Navy courier handed Brand a sealed envelope and a single line. "This is your heading now." No orders, no reason, just new coordinates, far off standard trade routes. And a second note inside the envelope. No need for crew rotation. He knows the schedule. 3 days out, Brand began to notice irregularities. Nothing overt, nothing to raise alarm. But the men stopped changing watch as scheduled. The same man, a quiet, older sailor named Moore, took the night shift. Every night. He stood by the helm from midnight until dawn, never spoke, never left his post. Brand confronted his first mate about it, but the response was strange. "He relieves himself." Brand asked, "Who relieves him?" The mate only blinked. "That's his job. He relieves." By the 5th night, Brand sat in silence as Moore again took position at the helm. The man's eyes looked gray in lamplight, not tired, not alive, just focused. By midnight, fog rose around the schooner. No stars, no sound, and no heading. The compass spun slowly. The water flattened, lost its color. Then Brand heard it. The bell. Faint at first, one chime far off. Then again. Not his ship's bell. Another, distant, cold. The crew began acting adjusted. They stopped referring to each other by name. Orders were obeyed before given. And always, Moore remained on deck. Every meal, his bowl stayed full. Every day, his bunk undisturbed. In the storage room, Brand found something that was not on his manifest. A sealed crate. Same type used by the government. He broke it open. Inside, a jacket with a name stitched in fine naval thread. Lorcan. The same name from the Hesper logs. Pinned beneath the coat, a folded piece of waxed paper, dated 1869, scrawled in uneven script. "Do not sit his watch. Do not speak his name. If you relieve him, you become him." By the 8th day, Brand tried to turn the ship. No response from the rudder. The sails turned on their own. They were no longer heading south. They were returning. That night, the crew was found gathered in the galley. 17 men, 17 bowls. One chair, still empty. Moore stood at the doorway, still holding the helm's key. He had never eaten. Brand shouted at him, demanded explanation. Moore spoke one sentence. He only needed a body. Then he walked calmly overboard. Did not struggle, did not sink.
he vanished. 3 nights later, the Gloria Dell was found drifting 40 miles from her original course. Every man accounted for, except the captain. His logbook was intact. Final entry written in trembling hand. He took my name, and now the wheel turns itself. He won't stop, because no one ever relieves the last watch. The last page of the log was torn, the back of it blank except for a signature.